Welcome back, Palians. Randy from Sleepy Katara here with a new video covering food parties. Today's video will cover cake parties and focus food parties. For those of you that are like, wait a minute, what is that? Well, a cake party is when a large group of Palians get together on someone else's plot or their own to make the celebration cake recipe, and the reason to make a lot of gold fast. Now, focus food parties, well, they're just that. They're focus food parties, right? So they're parties to make food so that your focus bar stays filled and you're getting all that delicious, nutritious bonus XP. Now, if you're not sure about what focus is and what it impacts, make sure you check out our tips and tricks video that I've linked below, because it does go over that, as well as more videos that might even help you get an upper hand, and especially if you're just starting Palia for the first time. Our Get Rich Quick Guide, believe it or not, as clickbaity as it may seem, is really that. You can make anywhere between 5,000 to 7,000 gold in the first 30 minutes, and even beyond, just doing a few simple things. Now, the reason so many people have parties rather than cook solo is the ingredient usage amount, and obviously the cost that comes with that. So with solo cooking, for example, you may use 10 to 15 different ingredients, whereas in a party, you're just using one ingredient per cooking round. So you can see right there the savings and really how to stretch your materials further and not make it such a grind. Now, if you're primarily a solo player and you don't care, this video will absolutely help you as well to get you exactly what you need to know so you can start making these cakes and this focus food on your plot by yourself or in a party. Now, let's get into it and go over the celebration cake recipe from start to finish. All right, let's talk celebration cake. For the typical parties, you will be doing starred apples because they make the most money. I'm gonna go ahead and put a graphic here on the screen for you to see. This kind of goes over and explains how much certain cakes will get you. So for example, if you use all blueberries for a non-starred cake, you are going to get 147 gold sell price per cake. If you were to use all blueberries and get a starred cake, you will sell them for 220 gold per cake. Now, moving to apples, a non-starred cake will get you 175 gold, and a starred all apple cake will get you 262 gold. It is completely up to you, and feel free to join any parties you want, doing any of the variety that you want to do, as long as obviously the party host, unless they say otherwise. But these are the values that I thought you should know. So if you really want to get the most bang for your buck, the most gold, even if you're not the one providing the apples, let's say you're doing the spreading roll or the baking roll, this is just something to keep in mind when looking for a party or joining a party, just to make sure that you're investing your time in a party that's making you the gold that you want to get. Now, from that, this next graphic is going to show you what is needed. So for the starter position, you will need not only to have the celebration cake recipe, but you will also need 50 starred blueberries. For the sweet leaf stations, you will need 4 individuals doing 50 sweet leaf each. For the batter squad, you will need 3 individuals doing 50 batter, which is butter, eggs, and flour. Now, you will notice that it says lockbox. If you are not aware, Palia also, 2 storage chests, has lockboxes. Lockboxes are hugely valuable because you put anything in those lockboxes that you do not want used while cooking. So in this case, if you are on batter, we will ask you to lockbox your milk and sweet leaf if you can, so that way you don't misclick and make something you're not supposed to make therefore taking someone else's job and possibly making them miss out on a cake. Now, to note, you can also combat this by putting everything in your regular storage and what you need to use, putting it in your inventory, as it will pull from your inventory. But obviously there can be issues here and there, so we recommend lockboxing your stuff. For frosting, you will have butter and milk, 50 of those to make frosting. You will only need one individual doing that, and they will lockbox their flour and, if possible, sweet leaf. For your fruit frosters, you are going to have them use starred apple and sugar, so 50 of each. We obviously do starred apples only for this roll, as starred apples makes us more money when selling. So, the baker, you just bake. The only thing to note about baker is once the baking is completed, you'll only have 7 seconds to get it out of the oven before it burns. If you do burn a cake, it's okay, it happens, but we will need to make another sweet leaf, another batter, and remake the cake. And for the spreading of the jelly layers, all you do is click and spread. So usually the spreading and baking are a universal role for 3 people doing all of those jobs, or if you're like us, where we stream the event or we have new people constantly joining, we will individually assign those roles to new players because there's no ingredients needed. Now, let's go ahead and get into the making of a celebration cake. Now, in this experience, you will see it solo, but obviously you can do it in a group, which makes it a lot easier. The reason you would want to do it in an actual group is because of ingredients usage. As you can see here, it's going to require me to have a starred blueberry, butter, eggs, flour, sweet leaf, starred apples, sugar, and milk. And in most cases, you're going to have a decent amount of this, but you're only going to have so much. So doing this in parties is really a huge benefit to save on ingredients and to save you money overall. But if you say, Randy, I just prefer the solo grind and I don't mind, spending more money or doing more, then hey, by all means, go for it. So as discussed, we're going to need to make these 4 sweet leaf.
One eternity later.
Once the sweet leaf is done, we're going to move on to the 1 frosting we need to make. Now, once that delicious frosting is mixed up, we are going to move on to the cake batter. And once those 3 cake batters are done, you could go and bake if you wanted to. I am just going to save time, and I am going to get the 3 fruit frostings out of the way. Now, once the 3 fruit frostings are out of the way, we're going to go ahead and go over and bake. What I will say about baking is the only thing you will need to worry about is burning the cakes like we discussed before, but you have 7 seconds, so it shouldn't be a big deal, so no need to worry. Now, if you're like me and you want to speed up the process, you're going to have 3 ovens even when you're solo cooking because, ain't nobody got time for that. Once done, as you can see, it starts the burn timer, and you're just going to want to grab those cakes out before they burn. At this point, you're just going to go back to another prep station and make the jellied layers, all 3 of them. And once the jellied layers are done, you're going to run back over to the original prep station and add all the ingredients and finish the cake. And there you have it, a celebration cake. And as you can see, we made one prior, but we got the full gold amount of 262 gold because it is starred and it was using apples. Now moving on to focus food parties and focus food in general. We do chili oil dumplings, and it's something that we all think is really easy to do, as well to do over prep work on, so you can do it with pretty much a full server's worth of people if you so choose, and if that's how big of a party that you have. So let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll go over the chili oil dumpling and all that's needed to make it, whether you're solo or in a group. Now on the screen, I have put the recipe that you can pause to get the chili oil dumplings. When you are doing this solo, obviously you are going to need one of each of these ingredients to produce the 3 chili oil dumplings. And it looks a little bit something like this. So first we're gonna go to the stove to start it, and we're gonna make sure we click the Use Quality Ingredients area, and then we're gonna click Make. Now that will require the spice sprouts, by the way. Now we're going to chop a vegetable. You can chop any vegetable, whatever is the most that you have, and anything you don't want to chop, make sure you put it away in your lockbox. After the vegetable, we are going to do the chopped sernuk meat. Unfortunately, Mujin meat will not work, so make sure you have sernuk meat if you go to one of these chili oil dumpling parties. Gotta love the mini games, right? Next, make sure you come back and stir the food. If you miss this first stir, not only will it not be starred, but it can also fail. Then we are going to roll the dough, which you will need wheat for. After the wheat, we are going to move on to chopping our final ingredient, the spicy pepper. And then we are going to use oil and the chopped up spicy pepper to make the pepper paste. At which point we are going to do the final step, which is cooked rice. Now you can do this in any order you want to. Realistically, you just don't want to miss that first stir at the actual starter location, but this is just the way I do it because I just go in a line. Then add all the ingredients in and do the final stir. And there we have it, the chili oil dumplings. And as you can see in the inventory, for star chili oil dumplings, you are getting 525 focus points. And for unstarred, you are getting 350 points. Once again, you can do this solo or in a group. That is the end of the Celebration Cake and Focus Food video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. And as always, you can find us doing all of these parties on and off stream at twitch.tv/sleepyguitara, where we are not only a Twitch partner, but a Palia partner. Thank you so much for watching.